So for today, the topic is about cesarean delivery and peripartum hysterectomy. Can you hear me clearly, Lawrence Acantilado? Okay. So this will be our learning objectives. We will define the different types of cesarean, differentiate the abdominal incisions. How are we going to approach the abdomen in doing CS? And then we will have some discussion regarding vaginal birth after CS and the complications of uterine rupture. So let us define. So cesarean delivery means you are incising the abdomen, and you also incise the uterine wall, which is called as hysterotomy. Ganun ang CS. So if you are removing a fetus in a ruptured uterus, for example, the uterus has ruptured and the baby is within the abdominal cavity, that is not considered cesarean section kasi you did not incise the uterus. For example, you have an abdominal pregnancy. The fetus is inside the abdomen, not next. What is peripartum hysterectomy? Okay? Nagpapakitang unstable ang internet. Can you hear me clearly, Krisha? Krisha?
Yes po, Doc.
Krisha?
Yes po, Doc.
Hindi kita marinig. Krisha? Magsalita ka
Yes.
nga.
I can hear you, Doc.
Krisha? Nagsasalita ka? Ha? Pero
Yes
wag
po.
ganun. Na hindi ko naririnig ang baka nakamute yung laptop nyo. Sige.
Yes. Hello, Doc.
Paano yan? Baka daw nakamute ang laptop ko. On your end. Hindi ko sila naririnig eh. Oh, salita ka nga, Krisha. Krisha.
Hello po, Doc.
Ayun! Narinig na kita, kaya pala kanina hindi sumasagot si Alec. Hindi ko pala siya naririnig. O sige, thank you for your suggestion. So can you hear me clearly, Krisha?
Yes. Yes, Doc.
Okay.
Clear naman.
Thank you. So, when you say peripartum hysterectomy, meaning you remove the uterus either after a cesarean section, ang tawag natin CS hysterectomy. Pero after a normal delivery, ang tawag naman doon postpartum hysterectomy. So for example, you have a patient, who develops atony after a normal delivery. And you will remove the uterus. Ang tawag natin doon, postpartum hysterectomy. But for example, you are doing a cesarean section and your patient develops atony and you are going to remove the uterus, ang tawag natin cesarean hysterectomy. Clear? Okay? Naintindihan? We also have the perimortem and postmortem CS. Perimortem CS is performed in a woman who is about to die. So clinically, buhay pa yung pasyente, While postmortem CS is a cesarean section in a woman who recently died. So ito, namatay na. Yun ang difference nila. So there are several indications for cesarean section. And you look at this table, more than 85% are performed for these 4 indications. Ito yung mga common. For cesarean section, the most common is a prior CS. Ibig sabihin, CS siya noon dati. So ngayon, i-repeat mo yung CS. So that is the most common. That is the reason why we are auditing our primary cesarean section. Kasi if your patient ended up in CS, the likelihood that she will have a repeat CS will be very high. Okay? Now, for primary CS, ibig sabihin ngayon pa lang siya masi-CS. Ito, tandaan nyo, ang pinaka-most common is dystocia or abnormal labor. This will be the topic of Dr. Carnero. So, makinig kayong mabuti kasi yan ang pinakamahirap na topic pag pato-OB. Followed by fetal distress. Yung during CTG monitoring, nakakakita tayo ng non-reassuring fetal heart status. And then number 4 is by abnormal presentation. For example, breech. No? So yan. These are the yung pula, 3 most common causes of primary CS. First time na CS. Bakit? No? Why is it that there is an increasing rate of CS right now? Bakit dumadami na si CS? Number 1, greater percentage of nulliparas who are at risk for CS. No? There are so many complications right now that will predispose your patient to cesarean. For example, mataas ang risk ngayon ng diabetes, risk of hypertension among younger women. Next, rising maternal age. Medyo late ang pag-aasawa ngayon. So when your patient is on advanced maternal age, 35 and above, high risk agad sila. They are considered high risk. The next is the use of electronic fetal monitoring. So we have the CTG machine. During our time, ako ang residente, we just use the stethoscope. So we are just hearing the fetal heart rate after every 15 minutes. But now, you have the CTG monitor wherein you can see the decelerations of heart rate, no? Which might predispose to higher incidence of cesarean section. Next, breeches. Breech delivery. Most of the breeches are now delivered by CS. No? Not like before. We do a lot of vaginal breech delivery. But because of the complications of vaginal breech, no, we only select patients who are candidate for vaginal breech delivery, and most of them will end up in CS. Next, decline in operative vaginal delivery like forceps, no? Vacuum. There is a decrease or decline in forceps extraction. Why? Because we are afraid of the complications to the fetus. For example, nagkaroon ng laceration sa mukha due to forceps. You are a candidate for medical legal complaints. No? So medyo nagiging defensive ang management ngayon. Next is increasing incidence of induction of labor. So for example, diabetes on insulin. If your patient is on diabetes, you're going to induce your patient earlier. No? Next is obesity. Obesity can also cause problems during labor. Next is because of hypertension. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, there's an increasing incidence of hypertension right now. And decreased vaginal birth after CS. Most of us, will not deliver our previous CS vaginally. You can see this in government hospital. But for private hospital, most of us with patients with previous CS will end up in a repeat CS. Uulitin na lang namin CS. Okay? And then there are some patients right now who are requesting for cesarean section, CS per request. There are hospitals who would allow that. No? Next is assisted reproductive technology. For example, your patient paid for an IVF. Magkano isang IVF baby? $500,000, to 1 million. yung procedure. So most of the patient would require would request for a CS rather than subjecting their baby to a vaginal birth. Kasi tatakot sila baka may mangyari. Although ART is not an indication for CS. Hindi naman como IVF, CS na. Pero most of the patient, no, magre-request yan, CS nyo ko, doc, baka may mangyari sa baby ko. And as I have mentioned, the fear of malpractice litigation. Natatakot tayong mademanda. No? Kasi ngayon, may gonting gasgas ang bata, demanda ka. May nangyari sa baby, demanda ka. No? So yan ang reason for increasing rate for CS. Now, this is the one that I'm telling you that there is a CS per request. Ano reason nila? At gusto nila magpa-CS? Pelvic floor protection. Dok, ayoko masira yung ano ko. No? Next is convenience. Doc, mag-abroad ako CS mo na lang ako. Merong ganon. Fear of childbirth. Meron kami mga patient na merong mga depression, may anxiety disorders, ayaw na nilang mga anak vaginally. And reduce risk of fetal injury. So ito yung mga common reasons. But there are only hospitals, no, that would adhere, no, to CS per request. Kasi FEU would not allow it, no, kasi due to ethical considerations. Now, if you're going to do it, make sure that it is 39 weeks, no? And if your patient is desiring several pregnancies, gusto niya maraming anak, huwag kang mag-CCS kasi there is an increasing risk of placenta accreta spectrum. If your patient would have, no, repeat CS every now and then. And don't do CS per request just because your patient has no pain or is afraid of the pain. Kasi there are so many pain management right now for patients who will undergo labor. Now, what will be, no, the complications or mortality related to CS? As of now, maternal death due to cesarean delivery alone is very rare, no? Kumbaga, because of the advent of modern anesthesia, advent of antibiotics, no, the complication to CS is very low. And these are the complications. Please remember this. These are the three most common: infection, hemorrhage, infection. Why? Because you are doing several incisions. Hemorrhage, you are incising several layers of the abdomen. And thromboembolism. Why? Because your patient will be flat on bed for some time. No? Anesthetic complications, yung mga nag-high spinal. No? Pero usually, wala naman yan because your anesthesiologists now are well-trained. Injury to the adjacent organ. Ano yung mga nai-injure? Bladder, intestine, ureter. Okay? So these are the complications of cesarean section. Now, as I have mentioned, if you perform cesarean, you are going to repeat it in subsequent pregnancies. No? Talagang uulitin mo. Bihira yung nagva-vaginal birth after CS. And they say that you have lower rates of urinary incontinence and pelvic organ prolapse if your patient had cesarean section rather than vaginal. So, yung mga nagpo-prolapse, uterine prolapse, usually sa mga vaginal delivery yan, lower in cesarean section. However, if your patient, no, is already menopause na, they have the same risk na, no? The one with cesarean and the one who delivered vaginally, equal na lang ang risk nila for pelvic organ prolapse. Now, stress incontinence is usually lower in cesarean rather than in vaginal delivery. However, anal incontinence is usually unaffected by cesarean section. So, ibig sabihin, CS or vaginal, equal lang ang incidence ng ating anal incontinence. Stress incontinence, alam niyo ba stress incontinence? Yung pagka naubos siya, naiihi sa panty, o kaya nagbuhat ng mabigat, naiihi sila sa panty, no? Yun yung ating stress incontinence, which is more common in patients who delivered vaginally rather than in patients with cesarean section. So, for the babies naman, among the complications, no, the most common in cesarean is skin laceration, yung nahiwa. Kasi when you do your CS, di ba, naghihiwa tayo ng knife, minsan nahihiwa yung mukha ng bata. No? So that is the most common. Please remember that. Itong cephal hematoma, clavicular fracture, the others, these are more common for vaginal. For CS, ang more common will be laceration of the skin. So, how are you going to prepare your patient? That is for CS. Of course, you have the facilities. No? It should be done in a facility capable of CS. You get an informed consent. And the timing of delivery. Hindi pwedeng basta mag-CCS ka lang. Make sure that when you schedule your CS, the baby is already mature. Kasi baka parang namitas ka ng bunga, yung bunga mo ay hindi mahihinog, 'di ba? Parang ganon. So make sure that the baby is already mature. So how are you going to know that your patient is already or the baby is already mature? Please remember this. Binibigay ito sa exam. Okay? So paano ko siya tatandaan? No? Sonographic measurements before 20 weeks, meaning early ultrasound. No? Support at a gestational age of 39 weeks. Okay, so halimbawa, meron siyang early ultrasound. Today, she's already 39, pwede na. Okay, you can schedule her. Fetal heart sound has been documented for 30 weeks by Doppler. Kasi kailan ba natin naririnig ang heartbeats using Doppler, di ba? 10 weeks. So 10 weeks plus 30, that will be 40 weeks. So ibig sabihin mature na yan. From the positive pregnancy test, it has been 36 weeks from the time na nag-positive yung PT niya. Dapat may 36 weeks ka pa, no, from positive PT. Kasi 4 weeks positive na yan. Plus 36, that will be equivalent to 40 weeks. So, ibig sabihin, sure na sure ka na 39 completed weeks yon. Okay? Remember niyo yan, binibigay ko yan sa exam. No? So, after you get an informed consent, no, night before, bibigyan ng sedation. Siyempre, may anxiety yung patient natin. Then put on NPO. She will be evaluated by the OB and anesthesia. Titingnan nila hematocrit. Kasi if the hematocrit is low, they will prepare blood. Diba? And then, you give antacid because your patient is on NPO, dapat may antacid tayo. Ask the patient to lie on her left. Left ang higa. Bakit left? Kasi less compression to the big vessel, so more blood supply to the fetus. Also, you document the heartbeats. No? Next, it is no longer recommended that you do an abdominoperineal prep. No? Sa recommendation, ayaw na nila nung yung inaahit. No? Ang gusto ngayon, ang recommendation is hair clipping. Tandaan nyo to, hair clipping na, hindi na shaving. No? So, they would like to shy away from shaving. Ang gusto nila ngayon, hair clipping. Then, of course, you prepare the grounding pad, yung electrocautery natin. We insert Foley catheter kasi hindi makakaihi ang patient mo because he is under anesthesia. If she is high risk for thromboembolism, you can use compression hose. Okay? So, antibiotic prophylaxis. We usually give antibiotic prophylaxis. Single dose. What will be the antibiotic prophylaxis? It can be a beta-lactam. No? O kaya cefazolin. 60 minutes prior to CS. So all of us will have a prophylactic single-dose antibiotics. However, if the blood loss is more than 1.5, And there is a long operative procedure. Halimbawa, nagtagal yung CS mo kasi maraming additions, you have to continue giving your antibiotics. No? You can complete it for 7 days instead of a single dose. What are the other prevention? For diabetics, of course, you have to monitor the sugar. No? And then we usually have a surgical timeout. Ano yung surgical timeout? These are the things that we check prior to incision. No? So, tinatanong, sino surgeon, anesthesiologist, assistant, may blood ready, may antibiotic, then the completeness of the instruments, and then you have the counting of instruments. Timeout ang tawag doon. Now, there are several techniques, no, in opening. Pagka sinabing laparotomy, no, you incise the abdominal wall. No, laparotomy is incision of the abdominal wall. It is different from cesarean section. So ano ngayon yung dalawang hiwa ng abdomen? You can have a midline vertical. Okay? Tandaan nyo to, importante to. Midline vertical incision or the suprapubic transverse incision, no? Yung suprapubic transverse incision, ang tawag natin doon ay Pfannenstiel. So ito 'yan. Ito yung Pfannenstiel, ito yung vertical, no? Kung makakakita kayo mga kaibigan nyo, merong ang hiwa gitna, merong ang hiwa nandito. Ito yung suprapubic transverse incision kasi they have several differences and they have advantages and disadvantages, di ba? So please remember this. Lalabas yan sa exam. Maniwala kayo. Okay? So let us differentiate the two. So ito yung ating no? Siyempre si bikini o yung ating Pfannenstiel will have a better cosmetic result. Kaya nga yung iba nagpapabikini kasi maganda, hindi kita yung tahi. No? Pwede pa siya magbikini kaya tinawag yan na bikini no? Ng layman. But the term is Pfannenstiel or suprapubic transverse. So you have a better cosmetic result. Less painful yan. No? Hindi masakit ang bikini. Dehiscence, less than dehiscence ng wound. Hernia, less. Okay? The problem is in Pfannenstiel, you might injure the ilioinguinal and iliohypogastric nerve. No? And you will cut the inferior epigastric vessels kasi ang vessels paakyat. So pag naghiwa kang ganon, siyempre maputol mo. So as a result, you have more blood loss. No? Okay? The vertical naman, you have an increased pain, more painful, more dehiscence, more hernia, pero you will not encounter the ilioinguinal and iliohypogastric and you have minimal blood loss. Diba? So, in transverse, you cannot extend your incision. Maliit lang ang incision mo. But in vertical, you can extend it even upwards. So, for example, ang binigay ko sa inyo, patient na mayroong ovarian tumor, what laparotomy incision would you prefer? Siyempre, pagka ganyan, vertical kasi you can extend the incision, di ba? Kasi may ovarian tumor siya. For example, the baby has hydrocephalus. Malaki ulo ng bata. Paano mo mapagkakasya yung ulo doon sa isang maliit na bikini incision? Di ba? Of course, gagawin ko vertical. Di ba? Oh, for example, my patient has anemia. Anemic siya, o kaya the baby is in distress. I will not do bikini, the Pfannenstiel, kasi Pfannenstiel would take some time for its performance. Kasi I have to get the baby as soon as possible kasi baka mamatay yung bata. Vertical ang gagawin ko. So, ganun yung mga how are we going to apply it. Diba? Oh. So this is the bikini or the Pfannenstiel incision. No, you have to incise the skin, the subq, and up, so transverse mo hihiwain yung skin, subq hanggang fascia. Tandaan niyo yung paghiwa, ah? So skin, subq, fascia, transverse, pagka-fan and steel. Pagdating nyo ng muscle, you have to separate the fascia from the muscle, and the muscle will be incised vertically na. So itong muscle, vertical, peritoneum, vertical. So ang transverse lang natin, skin, subq, fascia, no? Pagdating ng muscle and peritoneum, it will be vertical. Clear? Oh, baka hiwain yung muscle ng transverse, puputulin nyo yan. So hindi hinihiwa ng transverse. Vertical ang muscle. So you separate the muscle at the middle, so vertical, no? And then peritoneum is also incised vertically. In vertical incision, no, all of them are vertical. So if you do vertical incision, skin, subq, fascia, muscle, peritoneum are all vertical. So now let's now go to cesarean section. So sabi natin, pag cesarean, ang hinihiwa ay uterus. Okay? So meron tayong types. This is the classical CS, no? Pag sinabing classical, you incise the upper segment of the uterus, upper. So let us review. The upper segment is thick, the lower segment is thin. Okay, so the upper segment is actively contracting, the lower segment is passive. Okay? Yun ang difference nila. So makapal ang classical CS, sa body ang ginagawa. Ang lower segment, which comes from the isthmus, di ba? Nung hindi buntis ang patient, may body, cervix, and junction niya, isthmus. Yun ang magiging lower segment. May dalawang klase na incision, transverse and vertical. Ang tawag dun sa transverse incision, Kerr. Kerr, ha? Low segment pareho to, Kerr and chronic. Kerr is a transverse incision. This is the one that we are doing most of the time. It is easier, no, to do because the myometrium is thin, less blood loss, less infection, and it does not cause adhesion to the bladder and omentum. Ang problem dito sa Kerr lang, kaya medyo naka-smiley yan, if you do it transverse lang na straight, you can injure the uterine artery on the side. So yun ang kanyang komplikasyon, ha? Injure the uterine artery on the side. So ang ginagawa namin parang smiley. How about the low vertical? Ang low vertical, si chronic. Ito yon, chronic. Low segment din siya pero vertical. Ang problem naman yan ni low vertical, no? It may, you can injure the bladder kasi may bladder downward. So nandito yung bladder, you can injure the bladder or you can even extend up to the cervix, pababa. Or if you extend it upwards, magiging parte naman ng classical, parang classical din. So, we seldom do chronic. Ang ginagawa namin talaga is the low transverse. Yes. Okay? Now, since classical section has the highest incidence of uterine rupture, ito ang madalas na nagra-rupture, we seldom do it. No? Hindi kami, unless there are indications. So, tandaan nyo to. Kasi binibigay ito sa exam din. No? For example, I have a patient with previous CS 4 times. When I open it, the bladder is already adherent, no? To the or the lower segment is adherent to the abdominal wall. Hindi ko na ma-access. I will do classical pag ganyan. O kaya there is a myoma. May myoma doon sa lower segment. Paano ko ma-incise yan? Classical ang gagawin ko. Invasive cancer to the cervix. So pag may cancer sa cervix, laging classical. Tandaan nyo yan. large fetus in transverse line, dorso-anterior or dorso-inferior, no? Ganyan. O kaya, nakaganon yung baby, inferior yung back niya. Wala akong hahawakan dyan pag nag-low segment ako. So, ang gagawin ko dyan ay classical. Placenta previa anteriorly implanted. So, binigyan kita ng case. May placenta previa anterior ang implantation. What incision will you do? Classical yan. No? Or very small fetuses in breech presentation where the lower segment is not yet well formed. Or there is a mother who is severely obese and you cannot see the lower segment, you can do classical CS. Remember the indication for classical CS because most of the time you will be asked, what incision will you do in this case? So, this is how we do the CS, no? So, we open the peritoneum until we incise and deliver the baby. This is not for you, don't worry. No? Pinakikita ko lang sa inyo paano namin ginagawa. So, we incise using the knife, yung myometrium. This is a curve incision and then we split it and then use the bandage scissors until we deliver the baby. No? So, this is a low segment cesarean section, transverse, so curve incision. And then this will be followed by the body and the rest. And then after the delivery of the baby, we'll now give oxytocin to prevent uterine atony. Ito yung diniscuss natin before. So after the delivery of the baby, no, it is now the time to do or remove the placenta. No? And after we remove the placenta, yung placenta there are two ways to remove it. You can do manual, you insert your hand, remove the placenta, or spontaneous, contraction while you are massaging the uterus. Dalawa. Mas preferred ang spontaneous rather than manual. Kasi in manual, you insert your hand, so prone sa infection. Okay? So tandaan nyo, mas preferred ang controlled contraction with spontaneous separation of the placenta rather than manual. Then, it is now advisable to lift the uterus out, no, of the abdominal wall. Ilalabas mo siya. Ito daw yung mga advantages. Number 1, atony can be recognized right away. You can see the bleeding, no? Yung mga bleeders. And then, you can also see the adnexa, the fallopian tube, and the ovaries. Okay? And then, you can ligate the bleeders and at the same time, do IUD insertion if your patient is not desirous of pregnancy. Yung iba, nagpo-postpartum IUD na. No? Ngayon, nung araw, pinagbabawal to nung panahon ko na ako'y resident. No? They say that if you lift the uterus out of the abdomen, prone daw to sa infection. But they found out na the infection is very low. No? So these are the advantages of lifting the uterus out of the abdominal wall. So this is how we close the abdomen, no? So we close the peritoneum, muscle, fascia, subcutaneous tissue, no? And of course, the skin. Hindi ko naman kayo tatanungin kung paano na yan sinasara, di ba? So as I have mentioned, these are the indications for classical CS. We discussed this before. So this is how you repair the classical CS. If you look at it, di ba, ang kapal ng uterus, so it is quite difficult to repair. Mas mahirap tong i-repair eh. Number 2, you have more blood loss kasi you are incising a thicker portion of the myometrium. And then higher incidence of uterine rupture. No? Of course, since it is thicker, you have also a higher incidence of infection. Now, what is peripartum hysterectomy? As I mentioned, this is the removal of the uterus. No? You can do it total, meaning total, you remove up to cervix, or supracervical hysterectomy. No? Supracervical, meaning you just remove the body, you retain the cervix. Now, no? So, these are the indications for hysterectomy. Bakit na hysterectomy? Number 1 is atony, o kaya yung mga placenta accreta, nag-rupture yung uterus, no? Nagkaroon ng infection, may myoma, or invasive cancer. So these are the indications. But the most common is atony. So this is how, no? What is total hysterectomy? Pag sinabing total, hanggang dun sa green. Subtotal, iiwan tong green portion, no? Kailan namin dinidesisyon? When we do subtotal versus total. As I have mentioned in our past lecture, for example, we have a patient, atony. We don't have blood. Patient is hypovolemic. No? In order to shorten the operative course, no? Gusto natin paiksiin yung operation. So you just do subtotal. Ganito lang. Kasi ang dumudugo naman, itong pink, hindi naman itong green. So, to save the patient. No? So, for example, binigyan kita, merong nag-atony, hypovolemic, no blood available, okay, nagdi-DIC na yung patient mo, subtotal na lang ang gagawin mo. Now, for post-operative care, of course, you have to give pain control, you place the patient in recovery suite, and then you continue your IV fluids kasi hindi pa kakain yan. Then, you ask your patient for deep breathing and coughing para yung lungs niya, no? You repeat the hematocrit, and then you monitor the output, dapat ang output natin at least 30 cc per hour. Now, we can remove the Foley catheter after 12 hours, and usually the hospitalization will take around 3 to 4 days. And for example, tinanong ka ng pasyente, Dok, kailan kami pwedeng mag-sex? Ang sex will be advisable 6 weeks postpartum pa lang. No? So you have to wait for puerperium. And return to work, usually variable yan, depending on the work of your patient. Now, there are some cases wherein after operation, no? Ito, case usually binibigay ko rito. Post-op, yung patient mo, then there will be abdominal distension, gas pain, inability to pass out flatus. What will you request? So pagka ganon, ang iniisip natin, ileus, no? Post-operative ileus. So, what will you do? You can request for X-ray, pwedeng minsan CT scan, pwede rin mag-electrolytes, no? Electrolyte. Usually, it is secondary to hypokalemia. So, if your patient is hypokalemic, you have to replace it. And then, NPO nyo lang yung patient. NPO. No, hindi nyo kakainin yan. Bowel rest lang yan. And then, if the patient is vomiting and there is abdominal distension, you can insert nasogastric tube to decompress. Kasi ito yung mga patient na hindi pa okay yung bowel nila, no, yung bowel sounds, tapos na sila, salita ng salita, daldal ng daldal, tawa ng tawa. So nag-aano sila ng gaston no? So you have, how will you prevent ileus, no? So you minimize bowel manipulation, hindi yung hawak kami ng hawak sa mga bituka, no? Avoid excess IV fluids, limit surgical length, usually it is associated with prolonged OR. And after pwede nyong advise yung patient nyo, gum chewing, no? For early recovery and ambulation. Kaya ini-encourage namin yung patient early ambulation. Kasi maganda yon sa bowel movement. Now, for prior cesarean delivery, may 2 options yung patient ko. So, she can undergo trial of labor after CS, or she can just request for an elective repeat cesarean delivery. No? So, ang tawag natin doon ay vaginal birth after CS. If she is able to deliver vaginally, so, ang tawag natin is vaginal birth after CS yun. Okay? So she will undergo trial of labor, which can be successful or it can be a failed trial of labor. O kaya naman, yung patient mo, magpa-repeat CS na lang ako. Yan ang usual outcome eh. Ayaw na nila mag-trial of labor. Doc, CS mo na lang ako. Kasi you have to explain the complication of trial of labor. So what will be the complication? No? One is uterine rupture. Pumutok yung dati niyang incision. And as I have mentioned, classical CS has the highest risk for rupture. Now, you can have a complete rupture or layers are separated or an incomplete rupture. Ito yung diniscuss natin before, wherein the myometrium has separated but the peritoneum is still intact, di ba? Matatanaw mo lang yung baby sa loob, may peritoneum pa. Pag complete rupture, the baby is already out of the uterine cavity. No? So, ang most common risk is the previous classical. So, what will be the differences between an elective and TOLAC or trial of labor? Perinatal mortality, mas mataas sa TOLAC. No? Maraming namamatay na baby. Transient takip na of the newborn, more sa elective repeat. Hypoxemic ischemic encephalopathy, more sa TOLAC. Ventilation, no, low Apgar score, more sa TOLAC. No? Birth trauma from skin laceration, more for elective repeat. So if you look at it, no, look at the incision, pag tinignan mo, ang classical has a 2 to 9% rate of rupture. Yung T-shape, ito yung mas mataas, yung T-shape. Ano ibig sabihin ng T-shape? May classical na siya, may low segment pa siya. No? Okay? Oh. So, ang ano nun, the risk is around 4 to 9%. Now, though, for patients who are candidate for trial of labor, no? They studied the prior incision closure. And based on studies, single or double layer closures did not differ in the risk of uterine rupture. Number of prior CS. We usually just allow one previous CS. No? Kasi as of now, there are conflicting studies whether 2 CS has more incidence of uterine rupture compared to 1. Pero in actual practice, isa lang, 1 previous CS. Imaging. Magpapa-ultrasound ba ako before a trial of labor? It is not a routine practice. Okay, so it's not a routine practice. Prior uterine rupture, for example, your patient had a previous uterine rupture, the risk is higher now. No? Interdelivery interval, less than 18 months has greater risk. Okay? Prior vaginal delivery, for example, yung patient mo, nanganak ng normal na CS, now trial, magta-trial siya, mas mataas ang incidence of a vaginal delivery compared to a patient wherein her pelvis has not been tested. So, halimbawa, binigyan ko kayo ng case. Who among this patient will have the best prognosis with regards to trial of labor? So, ang pipiliin mo ay yung may prior delivery na vaginally. No? O, next. Prior cesarean indication. It was found out that prior CS due to breach, no? Breach ang naging indication for prior CS, will have a higher VVAC rate. So, mas mataas pagka-breach ang dating indication compared to fetal compromise or CPD. Kaya nga kami, if the indication is a previous cephalopelvic disproportion, we will not allow VBAC anymore. Hindi na kami no? We will not do vaginal birth after CS. Okay? Now, fetal size is inversely related to vaginal birth after CS. No? Okay? Because, siyempre, habang lumalaki yung bata, bumababa ang incidence of CS. Halimbawa, lumalaki ang baby, bumababa ang incidence ng vaginal birth. Siyempre, mas madaling ilabas yung maliit compared dun sa malaki. Multiple gestations. If you have twin pregnancy, it's not an indication. No? They can undergo TOLAC. So, pwede silang mag-trial of labor. Obesity. Habang tumataba yung nanay, bumababa ang incidence ng ating vaginal birth. So, if your patient has a higher BMI, the incidence of vaginal birth will be lower. Fetal death. For example, meron kang patient, previous CS, then the baby is dead, no? She can undergo vaginal birth after cesarean. Hello? Hello? Nako. Hello? Lawrence? Hanggang saan yung narinig nyo? Okay lang? Akala ko naglag eh. Okay, so look at this table. These are good candidates for trial of labor. May transverse incision. As I have mentioned, classical, automatic, no trial of labor. Prior vaginal delivery, higher incidence, no? Sufficient personnel and equipment, and then you have appropriate counseling. Dapat appropriate ang counseling nyo, no? Do sa patient. And they say the teaching hospital like FEU will have a higher incidence of vaginal birth after CS. Okay? So, timing, kailan natin inaano ang labor and delivery consideration? So, prior CS delivery, dapat it should be term na. We are sure that the patient is already term. It should be in a hospital where you can hook the baby to CTG. Ito, oxytocin, you can use it. Ito, tandaan nyo na prostaglandin are not allowed, no? For vaginal birth after CS. You can give epidural anesthesia as the anesthetic of choice. How about uterine scar exploration? It is said that routine, nung araw kasi lahat ng bibak namin, kinakapa namin yung previous scar. But now, it is no longer routine. You only do uterine scar exploration if there are signs that there are signs of rupture. For example, nag-acute abdomen yung patient mo. You explore the uterine scar. But for asymptomatic patient, uterine scar exploration is no longer routine. So, what will be the earliest sign of rupture? We discussed this in our previous lecture. It is a non-reassuring fetal status. Alam ko, binigay ko sa exam yan. No? Meron tayong isa na nagdesel. What will you do? You do immediate operation. Di ba? So, a non-reassuring fetal heart rate is a sign of rupture. Then the loss of station, firm contracted uterus alongside the uterus or alongside the fetus, or you can request for sonography for diagnosis of rupture. Now, the perinatal outcome or survival is dependent on how soon you open up your patient. So kung halimbawa nagdidili-dali ka na pag-open up, doon namamatayan ng bata. So the survival is dependent on immediate delivery. And then what will you do with the uterus? You can either do hysterectomy kung tingnan mo yung gravidity. May edad na yung pasyente, multigravid, edi hysterectomy mo na. But if your patient is desirous of future pregnancy, you can do repair. Okay? To preserve the uterus. Diniscuss natin to before. So based on this, graph, looking at the number of CS, ayan o, per CS, second CS, third CS, fourth CS, fifth CS. Kung magre-repeat ako ng CS, no? There is an increasing incidence of wound infection. There is an increasing incidence of hysterectomy. There is an increasing incidence of acrita, no? There is an increasing incidence of transfusion. So, ito naman, these are the complications related to repeat CS. So, let us study some of the cases. Okay? Sige, tingnan natin. Which of the following will contraindicate trial of labor? Basa. Sa tingin nyo, alin dyan ang bakit hindi ako? Which of the following will contraindicate trial of labor after CS? Tan Aaron. Anybody can answer. Nawala. Hello? Na-disconnect tayo. No? O yung mga internet na to. Sandali O yan. Sino yung tinatanong ko ngayon? Si Tan Aaron. Anybody can answer.
Yung
Hello?
yung prior incision type niyo po, which is classical.
Okay, the previous incision is class. Uterine rupture. Next. Nawala uli. O yan, meron na. Unstable na naman ang internet natin. O yan. Yung kanina, classical is the contraindication because of high incidence of uterine rupture. Hello? Lawrence, Angelo, nakita mo? Oh. Which of the following will tell you that the baby is already mature? Alin dyan? Which one? Anybody? Sagot.
Letter C po, Doc.
Lawrence, naririnig mo ba? Letter C, third trimester, 39 weeks, third trimester ultrasound ba ang babasihan natin? Di ba dapat first trimester, less than 20 weeks? Hindi na accurate pagka third trimester. Oh, alin dyan?
Letter A, Doc.
Letter A, correct. Kasi 10-30 weeks from the fetal heart tone was heard by Doppler. Di ba sabi sa inyo, naririnig ng Doppler at 10 weeks. So pag inad mo pa yung 30 weeks, edi 40 weeks na yan, sure ka na, mature yan. Okay? Mali itong 34 weeks kasi from a positive pregnancy test. Mali yan. Kasi dapat 36 weeks to. From a positive pregnancy test. O, next. Mary Louise. Makadangdang. Ano gagawin ko rito? Nag-repeat CS daw ako 3 times. Nung binuksan ko, dikit-dikit na yung bladder doon sa abdomen, sa baba. So, anong gagawin ko? Anong incision? Ha? What will you do? Matthew Gotladera.
Classical incision B.
You will do classical and remove the adhesion. Sasubject mo ba yung bladder sa masira yan? Kaya ka nga, that's the reason why you perform classical No? You perform classical to avoid the adhesions. So you do classical. But don't remove the adhesion. Ang gagawin nyo na lang is to do ligation. No? So that your patient will not get pregnant anymore. Anyways, he's already gravid at 5 para 3. Diba? Oh, next. Post-hysterectomy, nagkaroon daw ng no bowel sounds heard on auscultation. So what is your consideration, Krisha? Krisha, ano consideration mo? Krisha May?
No fetal movement.
Ha? Ano yan? Inopera, hysterectomy, tapos lumaki yung tiyan. Oh. Anong consideration? No bowel sounds. Patient is vomiting. Anybody can answer para practice.
Doc Ilius po.
Okay, Ilius. Correct. Inopera kasi siya, di ba? Na hysterectomy, tanggal. Tapos bigla lumaki yung tiyan, walang bowel sounds. So post-operative Ilius. What will you do? Stephen, what will you request? Ano pwede niyong gawin? Ano sabi natin? Due to Ilius ay pwede tayo mag-X-ray, di ba? Electrolytes, baka hypokalemic yung patient mo. Oh. And then how will you manage your patient? NPO muna. Lagyan nyo ng NGT kung suka ng suka. If the patient is vomiting every now and then, you can insert nasogastric tube. If the patient has electrolyte problem, you correct the electrolytes. Okay? So that ends our lecture. I hope you can practice more, answering cases. Okay, thank you very much. Hello. Okay, akala ko naglag Oh. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc.
Doc.
Thank you po, Doc.